Welcome back to W.P.M With Magz, aka Wolf Pussy Monologues Podcast. Get ready for some shit and shenanigans from the CEO of the Unicorn Division, our leader of the Wolfden Pack, the maniac behind the mic, the one and only Magz. Broadcasting internationally from our lovely private studio in the city of Los Angeles. We thank each of our listeners around the globe for joining the shit show, and we sincerely hope you'll enjoy today's episode.
What up, what it is, how you feeling, how you living, where the hell y'all been? Welcome to another episode of W.P.M With Magz Podcast. I'm your host, Magz. As always, it's a pleasure to be back on the mic one more time with all my Wolfpack friends. Hope you had a great week. Hope you're feeling all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, we are rolling through this September with great ferocity. I would say in 1.25 seconds, I think we'll be singing Jingle Fucking Bells any minute now. But not before we kill a couple of motherfuckers on Halloween. I can't wait. Love it, love it, love that holiday. All things gore, horror movies, bring them on. Yes, I'm ready. If you didn't know, I'm ready. I am ready for the binge watching for real. Bring all the old school, the Thing, the Blob. Come on with it. Birds, y'all know what I'm talking about. Anywho, we gonna discuss little something today. I think it's a pretty serious topic, pretty heavy. We in the light of the school season round here. So in the Wolf Den today, we are gonna discuss from classroom to Cellblock, the school to prison pipeline. That is what's on the agenda for today. Buckle up, buttercups, because this right here, I'm just saying, this right here, I don't have no children. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any children, and I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. Okay, let's get into it. Without further ado, welcome back to W.P.M With Magz, where we keep it raw, real, and unapologetically honest. You know what I'm saying? Today's episode is one that hits me right in the jugular. You know what I'm saying? Right at the neck. You know, it's not just about books and detention slips. It's about the life and death outcomes for the youth. You know, just because I don't have kids don't mean I don't care about the youth. Because at the end of the day, these are the next motherfuckers in line to take over shit. Right? So the title for this episode says it all. From classroom to Cellblock. Right? This so-called pipeline describes how schools, especially in black, brown, and low-income neighborhoods, yes, push kids out the classrooms and funnel them straight into the criminal justice system, right? Let's just put the cheese on the goddamn cracker, you know what I'm saying? And let me be perfectly clear. We're not talking about quote-unquote bad kids. We're talking about normal kids. Kids who might talk back, or skip class, or struggle with reading. These kids are being criminalized instead of educated. So, grab your coffee, your tea, or whatever you sipping on, Hennessy, because this one's going to be heavy, but it's quite necessary. Can you dig it? Let's break down exactly what we mean by the school to prison pipeline. Imagine a system where discipline in schools doesn't look like counseling, doesn't look like mentorship, doesn't even look like after-school detention anymore. Instead, it looked like police officers in the hallways, metal detectors at the entrance, and a criminal record before you obtain a damn diploma. Why is it okay to push a criminal record on a person before a diploma? That's wild, but that's the pipeline. It's the set of policies and practices that push kids, you know what I'm saying, disproportionately kids of color, kids with disabilities, and kids from poor backgrounds out the classroom and into the juvenile and adult criminal justice systems. It stems from these zero tolerance policies. They came out in the 90s saying that one strike and you're out. It doesn't matter if it's fighting, cursing, or even carrying something as minor as nail clippers. Schools treat everything now as a criminal offense. Suspensions and expulsions. Kids are removed from classrooms at alarming rates. Instead of being supported, they're kicked out. Oh, I can't do nothing with you. Get out. Once they're out, they fall behind. And then the cycle begins. You understand me? You know what an SRO is? Those school resource officers. Having cops in schools may sound safe and appealing, but often what it means is that a 13-year-old getting arrested for a classroom outburst that could have been handled with a call from the teacher to the house, possibly could have been handled that way. This is what the reality is now. Don't no kid need to know nothing about that life. For what? They're supposed to be in a safe space, right? Here's something that you might have already knew. Black students are suspended and expelled 3 times more than white students, even for the same offenses. And once they're suspended, a student is 3 times more likely to end up in the juvenile justice system. So when people say the pipeline, they mean this conveyor belt from discipline in schools to punishment in prisons. And the belt's running faster than most of y'all think. And some of these, let's get into some of these causes. Let's ask the deeper question. How does the pipeline even start? Why are so many kids being pushed out instead of pulled in? Well, here are a few of the root causes of it. I'll tell you what. Unequal school funding. Schools in wealthier, often whiter districts get more money because funding is tied to property taxes. Meanwhile, schools in poor, black, or brown communities are underfunded. That means overcrowded classrooms, outdated textbooks, less technology, and fewer counselors, if any. If any. The result, kids don't get the tools they need to thrive, and the frustration builds and mounts. Now you got little angry child. Why is this child so angry all the time? What happened? What's wrong? You put a child in a situation where they can't thrive and grow, they have no choice but to deteriorate. Incoming criminalizing behavior. Think about your own school days. Did you ever talk back to a teacher once, or skip a class, or get into a fight? Back then, it might have meant detention or a phone call home. But today, in today's climate, that same behavior can get a kid arrested right in the hallway of the damn school. Normal childhood misbehavior is being treated as criminal activity. They're kids. They're little people. Okay? There's a bias, if you will, in discipline. It's tough but necessary. Teachers and administrators, whether they realize it or not, often hold implicit biases. Black kids are often seen as older, more threatening, and less innocent than their white peers. This means harsher punishments for the same shit as said before. A white kid throwing a tantrum is seen as having a bad day. He woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Black kid do the same shit. He's a defiant, dangerous, aggressive motherfucker. Interesting, ain't it? They're still kids. Still fucking kids. Here's another root cause of this bullshit. Neglecting special needs kids. So many kids who end up suspended or expelled actually have learning disabilities or emotional challenges. Instead of getting the support they need, therapy, counseling, tutoring, they get punished. And once they're punished, they're most likely to disengage altogether. Now you can't get this child to do anything on any day for any reason. Here's the harsh truth. When schools treat kids like criminals, society shouldn't be surprised when these said children eventually play the role that's been assigned, right? Let's get into some of these real stories, some of these real life stories. Okay, let me take this from a statistical view to a reality standpoint. All right, wait, let me get my lighter. Wait, okay, it's still lit, cool. Let's get into it. So, picture it. A 12-year-old boy named Marcus gets suspended for talking back in class. It's his first suspension. He misses an entire week of school and falls behind in math, right? When he comes back, his teacher labels him as a quote-unquote problem kid. Marcus then feels unwanted, so he skips more classes. On the streets, he starts hanging out with older kids who skip school too. One day, a fight breaks out. Police are called. Marcus gets arrested. And at 12 years old, he's now in the juvenile justice system. From detention hall to detention center. A smooth transition, wasn't it? And believe me, Marcus isn't a made-up story. Versions of this story happen every single day across America and more. Kids losing opportunities before they even had a chance to grasp it. And it's not just boys. Black girls are 6 times more likely to be suspended than white girls. Many of them are punished for things like attitude or defiance or even wearing their natural hair. Come on, y'all. Shit like this is heartbreaking because it reveals how quick society is to throw kids away instead of lifting them up like they're supposed to do. Well, I wonder how can we break this cycle? How can we do it? What can we do? Now, here's the part where I just don't want to leave you with the heavy emotions and shit. Let's talk about, the fix, the solution. Because this pipeline isn't unbreakable. It's man-made, which means it can be dismantled, replaced, with something positive. Just saying. Restorative justice programs. Okay? Start there. Instead of punishment, students learn accountability. Because we know too many adults that don't even know what the fuck accountability is, don't know what it look like, what it sound like, how to take it, how to saute it, bake it, don't know shit about accountability. Okay? So let's get the kids learning it so when they're big people, they'll know about it already. If a fight break out, students talk it out, repair the harm, and rebuild the relationship. They need more counselors and fewer cops. Kids need mentors, social workers, and mental health support, not handcuffs, beatings, and violent arrests on the school property. Schools with more counselors see better attendance and less violence. Get it together. Get it together. Now, teachers, don't take this personal, but your niggas need more training on bias. Straight out, you do. Teachers and staff. You need training to recognize implicit bias and how it affects discipline. A kid with ADHD is not a threat. A kid who raises their voice isn't necessarily a threat. They're just not being heard, dummy. Mentorship and after-school programs. When kids have safe outlets, sports, arts, mentorship, they're less likely to end up in the back of a police car right after school. Okay? Let's change some policies too. Repeal that zero tolerance shit. Invest in community schools and make sure funding isn't based solely on property taxes so everybody has an equal opportunity to learn all the things they need. How about that? Look at that. Isn't that nice? And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? You know what? Here's a simple truth. Every dollar we invest in education saves multiple dollars in incarceration. Locking up people costs more than teaching them. Let's repeat that for the fuckers in the back. Locking up people costs more than teaching them. This isn't just about justice. It's common sense economics, people. Okay? So, here's the bottom line. The school to prison pipeline is real, it's alive, and it's stealing futures before they even begin. But it don't have to keep flowing. We have the power to cut that pipeline by demanding fair policies, by supporting our teachers and kids, and holding school systems accountable. If you're a parent, speak up at the board meetings. If you're a teacher, push for restorative practices. If you're a community member, mentor a kid, donate supplies, or support local youth programs. We can either keep funding prisons or we can invest in the kids. One option locks doors, the other one opens them. Okay? Appreciate you for rocking and rolling with me, tuning in to W.P.M With Magz. If this shit resonated with you, share it with somebody else that need to hear it. You know, don't forget to follow us on all major platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at W.P.M With Magz. You know, we got merch. Link in bio on Instagram. And until next time, let's keep fighting for our classrooms, not more cell blocks. Because guess what happens? You build these prisons, you build them, and they stand, and they stand, and then they go empty. Then you have empty buildings. You see what I'm saying? Stop the madness. Y'all stay safe, stay out the way, stay out them streets. As always, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Next week, what's on the board for next week? Let's get into it. 1 second before we get out the wolf den. Special ed and misdiagnosis. Who is really being helped? Yes, we are going to close out this September with that episode next week. Again, y'all stay safe, stay out the way, stay out there motherfucking streets. Love, peace, and hair grease. W.P.M With Magz. Out.